Hi, I'm Lexi, and you're listening to Look It with Lexi. My podcast focuses on people who are doing extraordinary things and working extremely hard. Today's guest is Cooper Black. Thank you for being here. Cooper is a 2019 graduate of Alpena High School, where he was goalie for the Wildcat hockey team. He was named MVP and Michigan's Goalie of the Year. He was also named Division III All-State First Team. Cooper played 3 years of junior hockey after high school, then went on to play for Dartmouth College, an Ivy League university, where he was named to the 2022 to 2023 All-Rookie Team for the ECAC and the 2023 to 2024 ECAC Second Team. He recently signed a 2-year contract with the Florida Panthers organization, where he plays on their development team, the Charlotte Checkers. I know you have limited time in Alpena, so thank you so much for being here. Let's start from the beginning. How old were you when you started playing hockey?
Yeah, I think I was about maybe 4 or 5, somewhere in there. I remember my parents, they just moved up to Alpena, Michigan. They were down in Detroit, and my dad was kind of like, all right, well, if we're going to be so far north, should probably figure out how to skate himself. So he's like, all right, I should probably have my kid figure out how to skate. So went on and, kind of played for a year or two and then took a little break there and got back into it. But yeah, around that age.
Did you play any other sports growing up?
Yeah, I honestly was all over the place. Probably could play every sport, every major sport you could think of, honestly. I'd say the main two I played was hockey and soccer. I played soccer up until my freshman year of high school, played on the JV team. And then I moved away for a year, so I kind of dropped out of that. But no, I played football, baseball, soccer, hockey. Never got into basketball. Everyone always asks that, but that's not. No, I don't know. Basketball's just not my thing. I might have the height, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a goalie, but I don't like how high scoring it is. So it's not my jam.
So I had heard that you actually didn't like hockey much when you started. Is that true?
Yeah, so that was kind of where I said I took a little break there. My mom said it was because I didn't like how the gear felt. I mean, I was too young. I don't really remember, but yeah, I guess that was the issue. Is like I didn't like how the gear felt, so I literally quit hockey for I think maybe like a two years or something like that in there. So learned how to skate, took a break, and then came back to it, and then stuck with it. So I had some pretty good coaches along the way that definitely made me enjoy it. So I think that played a huge role in it.
Do you have any teammates or coaches, past or present, who've really influenced or inspired you?
Yeah, I mean, like I just said, I think the guy that, especially when I was younger, it was really good to have as a coach is Dave Maytash. I had him when I was really young as a squirt. So like it's that age group's like 9 and 10 years old. And I had my first year Pee Wee, so 11. So I had him for 2 years there, I think. And I think having a coach when you're that young who really makes hockey fun is super important because obviously, you especially down in Detroit now, you go see kids and parents are making their kids do all these crazy skates. But it's just like if they're not having fun, it's
Mhm.
it's not worth it. And so, especially with me quitting there and taking a break, even though I enjoyed sports and always have, like I think having him as my coach starting was definitely important. And then, I mean, I could go on a tangent here with every coach I ever had, but I mean, I had Chris Lindback as a coach for forever, pretty much my entire career after Maytash. So definitely kept me interested in hockey, and I appreciate everything he ever did for me. And then goalie coaches, I got a couple. Got a guy up north who really helped me grind it out, especially in high school. Taylor
Mhm.
Carey, unbelievable guy. Still talk to him. Doing a fishing trip with him next weekend,
Oh.
actually. So you get a lot of friendships, throughout hockey. And I think that's something that's so cool. Is it's a pretty tight knit community.
Mhm.
So ton of coaches. There's tons of people. Those are just a few, but those are kind of the originals.
What drew you to the goalie position?
uh, I don't actually know. um, I guess like the way it started was it was when I was a mite still. So this is now we're talking like 7 or 8 year olds.
Mhm.
And it was my last year of mites, and there was a tournament down in Bay City. It was like it was like Luck of the Irish or something stupid like that. And we didn't have a goalie, and someone I think it might have been Ivan Summers asked me. He was like, I was playing house hockey at the
Mhm.
time and asked me to go be, we need a goalie. You want to play goalie? I'm like, yeah, twist my arm, like I guess. So went in there and played, and I enjoyed it, and then stuck with it from there on out. So
So you had a growth spurt later in high school. Tell us how that helped you as a goalie.
yeah, I mean, height always helps.
Mhm.
I don't think anyone's gonna tell you otherwise. I mean, there's some disadvantages for sure, but No, I was only 6'3" my junior year, so I don't really know what happened. I thought I already did my growth spurt, thought everything was done, and then I was working actually at McDonald's that summer. I was serving you McFlurries, and no, I came home one day like kind of late in August, and my mom's like, "Dude, you're taller." I'm like, "All right, like whatever." And we got the measuring tape out, and sure enough, I was 6'6". I'm like, "All right, well, guess I got to deal with this now." So, and then the year after I graduated high school, it grew another 3 inches. I'm like, dear God, please stop. So, no, I mean, it definitely helps for sure.
Mhm.
I think it's definitely helped me. I mean, anyone who's a goalie person would tell you that it helps you get a look, regardless of how good or bad you are. You could
Mhm.
be the worst goalie in the world, but if you step on the ice and you're tall, like it definitely helps. So, definitely got lucky in that sense. But yeah, no, I don't have to move as much. I'd say that's probably the biggest thing. Like I can kind of just sit back
Yeah.
and I don't have to be as far out. So that's probably how I'd say it helps me in hockey. But
So you left high school hockey to play Triple A for the Little Caesars team. What made you come back to play high school hockey for Alpena?
yeah, I mean, that experience was awesome. And I actually wasn't going to go down. I'd said no to them at first, and then they still didn't have anyone. I'm like, you know what, I might as well go take my chance
Mhm.
down there. And I think that opportunity for me was huge. And I lived with a family a billet family, which is basically a foreign exchange
Mhm.
student, just without the language barrier. But I live with them, and I literally still am best friends with their kid to this day. I
Awesome.
live with that's who I stay with during the weeks. I go down there and hang out. So
Aw.
go we go on vacations together. So we're super close. But no, the reason I came back, I mean, I won't lie, like, I was 14.
Mhm.
And I was living away from home. Like any 14-year-old that lives away from home is gonna get homesick no matter what. So probably say most of it was being homesick. I had opportunities to stay down there, but wanted to come back, and I
Mhm.
miss my buddies. Like
Yeah.
we were talking about earlier, I have a bunch of buddies I still hang out with in town, and so being able to come back and be on a team with those guys from when I was a squirt all the way up through high school was super special, and
Yeah.
obviously I think that had a huge reason why we had success our last year.
Awesome. So you were named MVP, goalie of the year, and you made all state first team your senior year of high school. What do you remember about that standout season?
Honestly, I remember the group of guys that we had. Like we always there's you look back over the years that you've had, and obviously we had success that year, but I think that we were just such a tight knit group of guys.
Mhm.
Everyone got along. We all loved being in the locker room together, and I think that anytime you have a group of guys that are that close and grew up for that long together, you're gonna have success. Guys are gonna know where to be, even if we weren't necessarily as skilled as other teams. Like we just had that chemistry, and everybody knew kind of what they needed to do. So I think that really did lead us to having that kind of standout year. And quite frankly, I think that year kind of started the hot streak there.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's tons of other great players that have come up
Mhm.
through, but if I remember correctly, before that, like we hadn't made a region. I don't know if we hadn't made a regional, but basically, like we hadn't had that dominant of a season
Yeah.
in a while. And then you go look at after that. I
Mhm.
think kind of what was cool is we kind of helped build a culture, for Alpena hockey, and
Yeah.
now you see it in every year the success. And this year they went even farther than we did, so kudos to those guys. But
Mhm.
I think that was kind of cool for us to be able to
Yeah.
bring.
Super cool. What was the transition like from going to high school hockey to junior hockey?
It was a big transition for sure. AAA is a little bit better than high school hockey. I think
Mhm.
most people would agree with that. Getting there definitely had to learn quickly. I got cut from tons of teams before I even made one. Didn't get drafted into a league or anything like that. So I trying to think here. Tried out for at least I think 3 or 4 teams, and got cut from all before I even made Maryland, which I ended up getting really lucky. I
Mhm.
had a good camp, and kind of had a good start to the season there. But no, it was definitely a big adjustment. Anytime you take a step to a new league, like wherever you go, it's going to be an adjustment. So it took some
Yeah.
time for sure. And quite frankly, like until my third year juniors, I mean I was okay, but I wasn't like doing anything crazy. And
Mhm.
so it takes time to really build yourself up and get to a point where you feel like you can kind of have success at that
Yeah.
level.
What about junior hockey to Division 1 play in the Ivy League?
Yeah, honestly, that one was funny. That I didn't notice as big of a jump
Mhm.
in that as I did from high school to juniors. And I don't know what it was, but for whatever reason, I didn't. I mean, don't get me wrong; it was definitely better hockey.
Yeah.
I think for a goalie, perspective, there were a lot more screens. Like I played junior hockey in a league that was pretty wide open offense, so it's a lot of rush chances. And I went to college, and ECAC is a little bit more known for its defense and its structure and big bodies and stuff like that. So I had to definitely learn to play a little bit differently, and build on different parts of my game. But no, it was that one. I mean, it's always going to be a step up, no matter
Mhm.
where you go. But still a good league, and felt like I learned a lot there.
How did you get noticed by Dartmouth, and were like other schools were there other schools you were like thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, it was my second year juniors, so I had gotten drafted after my first year at in Maryland. There's like different levels of
Mhm.
juniors. There's tier one, tier two, tier three. I was at tier two in the null with the Maryland Black Bears, and then my after that season, it was COVID. It got cut short,
Mhm.
so I'm that old that I graduated before COVID. But anyways, yeah, so got drafted to Omaha, Nebraska. The Lancers in the USHL. So went there for the first half of the year. And I had played a couple preseason games, had a pretty solid preseason. And Dartmouth had caught their eye, or I had caught their eye
Mhm.
like earlier in the year, when I was in Maryland, and gave me a call during preseason and basically was like, "Hey, like we've been watching you and would like to commit you." And I had talked to a couple other schools or whatever, but I think they're I the coach there, the goalie coach Jason Tapp, and
Mhm.
head coach Reek Cashman, like talking to them, I unbelievable outlook on what they wanted me to do and what they thought I could do. And obviously, I think they had a tremendous amount of impact on my
Yeah.
ability to move on to the next level. So I think looking back on it, I'm so glad I went to that school and chose to be coached by those guys.
Awesome. So Dartmouth has both strong academics and athletics. How did you manage to balance that as a student athlete?
It's definitely difficult.
Mhm.
It's not for everyone. There's a reason that it's an Ivy League school. It's
Mhm.
hard. But I think you kind of figure out the sweet spot. I mean, you go there, and as long for me, like this sounds horrible. I was a good student in Alpena, but
Mhm.
and if I got a A minus, I'd be tweaking out. But I think for me at that point, I kind of figured that hockey sounds horrible was more important than school.
Yeah.
So if I just rode the median, which was a B plus, I was
Mhm.
pretty happy. So get a couple A's in there and call it good. So I mean, there's guys who, if you want to truly at that school, if you want to get A's and be good at hockey, like you're staying up until like 2 o'clock in the morning doing
Yeah.
homework. Like there's that much homework. So
Mhm.
I kind of capped it around 10:30, and whatever I got done, I got done. Quite frankly, I didn't read ever, so you kind of figure out ways around it. But I finished there fine with good GPA and
Mhm.
wasn't really worried about it. So it's just one of those things where you just kind of gotta find what you're willing to accept as your
Yeah.
grades in hockey and figure it out from there.
What was your major?
It's called it's a glorified government mod econ degree, which sounds really exhilarating. I know. It's politics, philosophy, economics, and the
Mhm.
reason that guys would do the PPE degree instead of just politics modified with econ is that way you didn't have to take econ 10 and econ 21, which were notorious for being like some of the hardest classes at the school. So
Oh.
yeah, so that's another way you kind of balance academics
Mhm.
there. You take a couple of there's some ways guys have been around for a while and figure out some cheat codes to get out of the hard classes and take some layups as we call them.
Were you able to graduate there, or did you end up signing with the Panthers before that happened?
I was not able to graduate. I only went to school for 2 years.
Mhm.
So I'd love to eventually go back. Technically, I'm on a leave of absence. I'm still enrolled.
Mhm.
It's kind of like for people that go, probably not for necessarily people who go play hockey, but it's for people who like want to go start business ventures and have opportunities, but
Yeah.
want to have the ability to go back. So luckily enough, I was able to apply to that and got it. So I mean, we'll see, but I wasn't
Mhm.
able to graduate.
So you were named to the ECAC All Rookie team in your first season, and then second team the next. Do you have any specific stats to make those teams, or how does that work?
There's not like a set stat line. Honestly, it's more the way it works is the coaches around the league all vote on it.
Mhm.
So there's 12 teams, so 12 different votes. You put first, second, third, and obviously had a great opportunity at school there, and my teammates were awesome in
Mhm.
front of me and definitely helped having a good team out there to to boost your stats. So I didn't have crazy numbers or anything at college, but just had a solid year and felt pretty good throughout. So a great team in front of me, and I wouldn't say their stats specifically.
Awesome. So signing with the Florida Panthers organization must have been a huge moment. Kind of walk us through how that opportunity came about.
Yeah, so this is my second year at college. I hadn't obviously, really heard anything. I knew there might be an opportunity, but me and my coach kind of agreed um, that I wouldn't talk to teams throughout the season just to not get distracted.
Hmm.
And that's personally that's who I am too. Like I'd rather focus on the moment, the season at hand, job at hand, because there's no point in getting ahead. If you
Yeah.
do what you're supposed to do, everything will take care of itself after. So season ended. We blew a lead to Cornell in the semifinals, which we should have won. We were up 3-1 and ended up losing 4-3. Yeah, yeah. Um, but anyways, after that game, my agent texted me and basically was like, "Hey, like whatever. Sorry about the game. Obviously not the way you wanted to go, but like let's connect in a couple like after the weekend
Hmm.
and we'll talk about next season." And then he kind of talked to me and basically was like, "Hey, like there's a lot of teams that would like to sign you, and I think we should hear them out."
Hmm.
So hopped on a couple of Zoom calls. I had gone to Florida Panthers camp the year before. Really enjoyed my time there. Really enjoyed meeting the staff and Roberto Luongo is the head goalie guy there, and honestly, really made me feel at home. Really made me feel like they wanted me and b knew what they wanted to do for my game. So I think honestly those were the biggest factors was just their staff.
Hmm.
You feel comfortable with the
Yeah.
staff and you feel like they're going to help you build your game, and I think that's all you can really ask for. That's why I chose Dartmouth, and again
Hmm.
that's why I chose Florida. So I think that's what you got to look at, and I'm so happy that I chose to go there.
So you currently play for the Charlotte Checkers as part of the development system. Tell us how that is set up and when they know like you're ready to move up.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's not like a specific time or timeline.
Hmm.
It's all kind of like it's kind of what I said. Like, if you look too far into the future, it's like, oh, like I should be here in
Yeah.
2 years. It's like, well, if you look like that, you're gonna be like, wow, I have all this work I got to do. But if
Hmm.
you just kind of look and be like, hey, like got to make sure that I'm taking care of my body this week so that I can play well this weekend. And then you do that every
Hmm.
week, and then you keep playing well over and over again. Eventually, you're gonna basically force their hand into giving you an opportunity. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how it goes. But yeah, no, I was down there this year and was there for pretty much most of the year. I was down in Savannah.
Hmm.
So do you know how baseball like the affiliate system works at all?
No.
So and basically, okay, I'll do it quick in case anybody
Okay.
does know. Basically, like NHL is the equivalent of the MLB,
Hmm.
and then there's AAA baseball, which is the level below that, and then AA baseball. So I
Okay.
was essentially on like the AAA team this year, but
Okay.
I did play like you mentioned the Savannah Ghost
Hmm.
Pirates. I played like a couple of games down with the AA team essentially.
Okay.
But so yeah, you go down there and you play games and just try to build your game up and keep improving. And they got a great goalie coach down there
Hmm.
and staff as well. And again, I would praise him for basically helping me build my game out this year. His name is we call him Sly. He's a great guy. He's French Canadian, but so sometimes we kind of rip him for having a funny accent or saying something. Kind of sounds like Yoda sometimes how he says things in reverse or out of order. But no, he's a great goalie coach, and I
Hmm.
really feel like he helped me out this year.
Awesome. What is it like walking into the new locker room at like a professional level for the first time?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. When I was at college, we obviously the oldest guy we have is like 24 years old.
Hmm.
And then you walk into a locker room and there's guys who are 36 years old.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the first day I walked into the Checkers locker room. Like I'd been used to in Dartmouth, our head coach and coaches had kids or whatever, and they'd be around
Hmm.
the rink running around. I'll never forget. I walk in day one and there's kids running around. And I'm like, oh, like this is probably like, the head coaches or
Hmm.
assistant coaches' kids or whatever. So I looked at the captain who's 36 years old.
Yeah.
I'm like, whose kids are these? Which coaches? He looks at me, he just goes, bro, they're mine. I'm like, okay, like, yeah, all right, this is a little bit different. But no, I mean it's relatively the same. It's still a
Hmm.
hockey locker room. Everybody
Yeah.
loves to hang out and just joke around, have fun. But the difference is definitely there's older guys who like, after a skate at college, we'd go to the dining hall and we'd joke around or we'd go do whatever all together.
Hmm.
Now guys have families, fiancés,
Yeah.
wives, so like little bit different. Still get out and golf every once in a while. I'm horrible at golf. I shoot 110. It's not pretty, but
Mm-mm.
a lot of the guys love it. So, guys will go out, we'll go watch a baseball game, have a
Yeah.
couple of like drinks or whatever and hang out, have some food. But for the most part, like guys, pretty much going home to their families.
Mhm. Your team made it to the final game of the Calder Cup. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, I mean, for a rookie year, it's definitely pretty rare.
Yeah.
It was a long season, I won't lie, but I loved it, every moment of it. It definitely was cool to see. We worked so hard throughout the year. You play so
Mhm.
many games, and it really felt like we got so all of a sudden, like at the end of the year, we got super close. Like obviously, everyone hangs out throughout the year, but it kind of
Mhm.
turned into a big family towards the end.
Yeah.
And our team fought through a lot of adversity. We had so many injuries this year, so many guys. It was ridiculous. Like at one point, I think we had like 7 or 8 guys
Oh my
with extensive injuries like broken legs, torn shoulder, like labrum, shoulder injuries and stuff like that. So torn ACLs, and it was
Mhm.
just like guys would not stop dropping like flies. So
Yeah.
honestly, the fact that we ended second place in the regular season and made it to the finals with how many injuries and guys out we had, like it's really says something about the character that we had in that
Yeah.
room. So it was definitely special.
So, being part of the Florida Panthers organization, were you able to attend any of the Stanley Cup playoff games?
No, because that's we were in playoffs the whole time, so
Oh.
I wasn't able to go to any of those. Normally, if theoretically if we would have lost,
Mhm.
sometimes guys will go up and do what's called black acing, where basically you practice in case somebody on the main squad gets injured.
Okay.
But that's only if they make you, and I don't even know if I would have gone up and done that.
Yeah.
I didn't have to find out.
Mhm.
So yeah.
How is the pace and physicality of the professional game compared to college?
I mean, it's definitely faster.
Mhm.
I'd say it's honestly not more physical. And I think part of that's because guys don't wear cages anymore. I mean, I would say it's similar. Like, I don't think that like the physicality lost, and there's still some big hits that happen.
Mhm.
Center ice guys will like to hit to throw the body around and get some energy going.
Mhm.
Every once in a while, there's a fight or whatever. But for the most part, I mean, it's just the skill, like in tight. Like you watch some of those guys, and you're just like, dude, like how is that even possible? Like
Yeah.
how did you do that? So it definitely like that was the biggest adjustment for me. And their shots are all like great. I mean this we went out a couple like a week ago and we did like an old alumni skate or whatever and we're joking
Mhm.
around and I'm so used to guys, I mean literally putting the puck wherever they want and like I have to move my hands almost every time.
Yeah.
And I went out into the skate and I didn't have to move my hands like very much. So it's just like funny to see and I like as it should. I mean, these guys are all like, no one like they're all working, like hanging
Mhm.
out, like say my buddies, like I'll tell Alex that tonight, like I'll tell him I said that, but it's just crazy. Like you get so used to like having to reach and every time because they don't miss, like
Yeah.
they don't hit you in the chest. If they hit you in the chest, something went horribly wrong, which is definitely a big change because I remember in college, it's like for the most part, like as long as you got across and got in position, it was probably going to hit you. Like every once in a while, the guy might pick a spot, but I mean,
Mhm.
now it's just like you're there and you're like, oh, I got you. And then he puts it in. You're like, what? So
Never mind.
so that's the biggest difference for sure.
So, as a goalie, the pressure can be intense. How do you mentally stay strong before and during games?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think it's one of the coolest positions because of that.
Mhm.
I think it's kind of like a pitcher almost in the
Yeah.
sense where it's like you're on an island alone and you don't have anybody to come rescue you,
Mhm.
really. I mean, your D might bail you out every once in a while, like it does happen. And if you have a good team in front of you, it makes a difference. But like, there's not very many positions in sports where if you make a mistake, it's on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
If a pitcher gets a home run hit on him or
Mhm.
whatever, like, it's on the scoreboard. Same with a goalie. It's up there for the whole stadium to see, and
Mhm.
they know. So it's definitely something you got to work on. You just gotta have a short-term memory. Like it's really hard to do, and it's something that every goalie will tell you like they're
Mhm.
working on. But it's just trying to find things that you can do to reset your brain. Like so for me, for instance, I get scored on. I will not pull the puck out of the net. Like that's not some
Yeah.
goalies like pulling the puck out of the net. Some
Uh-huh.
guys like the feeling of being like okay, like it's not in my net anymore. I'll get scored on. I just stand right up and just do my little skate, and like
Mhm.
that's kind of like my reset. Some
Yeah.
guys will spray water like up in the air and track the beads. Like you just got to find the thing that kind of helps you forget about it.
Mhm.
And don't get me wrong, like if you get scored on back to back twice, it's not easy to forget about it,
Mm-mm.
like, and then you see like up on the board, like, oh man, like it's 2-0 and we're 5 minutes into the game. Like, am I going to get pulled? All these other things. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like you find ways to kind of get around it. And I've gotten to the point now where it doesn't happen very often. But it's, every once in a while it still creeps in, and that's
Yeah.
kind of where you got to find a way to like cut that voice
Mhm.
out. So definitely something you got to work on all the time.
Awesome. Do you have any pregame rituals or routines that help you lock in?
Um, I mean, like everyone's got their routine, right?
Mhm.
Like, I mean, you find things that work for you. I've been doing the same ball drills for ages, and then like this year I added a couple things. Like
Yeah.
now I ride a spin bike now before
Mhm.
every game, and I always play sewer just to kind of, which is a it's basically two touch. Like
Mhm.
you get one touch and then you kick it out the second time, and basically like the last guy to touch it and then it hits the ground, they're out.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like a fun game. It's like a warm up, like kind of get your body moving and stuff. But it's just kind of honestly the way I use it is because I don't want to sit in the locker room the whole time and just overthink.
Mhm.
So if you're doing something, you're having fun, you're laughing, like
Yeah.
right like 20 minutes before you go on the ice, like I think that's a win because it can be stressful. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, I love hockey, and
Mhm.
but everyone who plays after they're a little kid will tell you, even high school kids, like it can be stressful.
Yeah.
So, I think for me, just finding things that kind of help me get focused, but at the same time also kind of relax a little bit. So.
Yeah. So you're highly looked up to in the Alpena community, especially by young hockey players. What is one piece of advice you'd give young hockey players dreaming of playing at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, honestly, is just love the sport that you play, and just keep showing up to the rink every day, and make sure that you're being intentional
Mhm.
because you can I can go to the rink and I can put on my gear and I can go skate, but just because I went and skate doesn't mean I worked on something today. Like every single time you skate, you gotta find something like, okay, like today I'm really gonna focus on this. Like for me, okay, maybe I go in one day and I'm like, I'm going to focus on playing deeper, but really watching the puck go into my
Mhm.
hands. So, like, whatever it is for that day, like, find something that you feel like you need to work on and really focus on that. And, like, you're not going to see improvement in one day.
Yeah.
Like, there's no immediate changes like that. It's impossible. So, but if you keep stacking it, I know it's so generic, but there's a reason it's generic. It's because it's true. If you keep
Mhm.
doing it over and over and over again, like, eventually you're gonna improve your game. So
Yeah.
I think just love what you do and just make sure when you're practicing, you're just being intentional.
Yeah. What are your goals for the next few years, both with the Checkers and potentially the Panthers?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think everyone wants to move up to the next level, right? Like, I mean, you gotta. So it's always a ways out, and it's close, but it's not at the same
Yeah.
time. So just for me, like same thing, like just keep stacking good days together and keep improving my game, and hopefully eventually I move up. But obviously, for this coming season, I'd love to win a cup in Charlotte.
Mhm.
I think kind of left a sour taste in all of our mouths. Not finishing the job. So we got a decent amount of guys coming back, so hopefully this year we can finish it off and return and bring it back to Charlotte.
Yeah. What parts of your game are you currently focused on improving?
I mean, I just got home, so I'm not skating for about a month here,
Mhm.
but I mean, for the most part, I think throughout the like I think throughout the year, the biggest one was bringing my game back a little bit. I used to be like play aggressive, right? We talked about how I wasn't always a tall like I mean I was
Yeah.
6'3", which is yes is tall, but I wasn't
Mhm.
always 6'9". So 6'3" goalie plays a lot different than a 6'9"
Yeah.
goalie. So I would say for the most part, like one of my strengths or assets that I feel like is a positive is I can skate well for my size. But because of that, sometimes I skated too much.
Mhm.
So I would get myself out of position. So one of the things we really worked on this year was kind of dialing it back a little bit, making me play deeper so that I'm letting the play come to me. And it's, obviously if you're not as far out when they pass it across, you don't have to move as much.
Mhm.
That's the whole reason you want to be tall.
Yeah.
So I'd say that for sure was the biggest thing that me and the goalie coach Sly worked on this year. And definitely going to just continue to work on that this summer.
Yeah. Does the team help with your improvement strategy, or is it sort of like survival of the fittest?
Yeah, I mean the team for sure does, right? Like they're invested in you, and that's the whole reason they signed you to a contract is they really like they looked at you and thought that they could help you improve your game to the point where eventually you could play in the NHL for them,
Yeah.
right? Otherwise, it's a waste of time. And obviously, it's a little bit like gambling, right? Like not
Mhm.
everybody makes it. There's a reason it's the hardest.
Yeah.
It's a hard league to make, but no, they definitely invest resources into you and excuse me, make sure that you feel like you have everything you need. And they, like I said, like that's why they hired Sly, the
Mhm.
goalie coach. He's again unbelievable coach. Like don't have a single bad thing to say about that guy. But they pay him for a reason to
Mhm.
help me. So he's kind of the investment into me, you could say.
So, what would it mean to you to take a step onto the NHL ice for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be surreal, right? Like it's every kid's dream. We after when I played on the Rex when I was playing youth hockey, we'd go to Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever it
Mhm.
was, and we're eating food and we're all just watching the NHL game, and you're like, oh my, like look at all these guys, or even when you're playing mini sticks in the
Mhm.
hallways, like you've got like I remember I had the old AI9 stick, which is Reebok like 2011 Pavel Datsuk stick, like it's old
Mhm.
but like it's that type of stuff that you think about. And then I got lucky enough to play a preseason game this year, and I got scored on by Andrei Svechnikov on a breakaway, and I'll never forget. Like it was the funniest thing ever. Normally, right, you get scored on as a goalie, it's not
Mhm.
a positive thing. You're kind of like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like really, like you kind of sit there and you go like, dang it, like like didn't want to get scored on, whatever. But he came on a breakaway and just went upper 90 on me, like put it in like the little corner up
Mhm.
top. I just kind of like laughed. I'm just like, yeah, like that was kind of cool. Like I was obviously I'm not excited. I was like after the game, like I wish I made the save. I'd set you off
Yeah.
on the breakaway, but still, it's like you get to play against all these guys, and you're
Mhm.
just like, these are people that you watch growing up, and they're studs, right? Like
Yeah.
they're in that league for a reason, and so it's definitely like it would be an unbelievable thing for me
Mhm.
to get that opportunity. I hope I do one day, but obviously, like
Yeah.
I said, you gotta keep putting in the work.
Mhm.
Nothing's given to you for free.
So, to get to the level you're at, it takes a lot of sacrifice from both you and your family. Tell us about some of your sacrifices and how your family fit into all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't thank my parents enough. The amount of driving that those
Mhm.
two did for me to play youth hockey, especially up in northern Michigan, where we're kind of isolated, is absolutely insane. And on top of that, too, like I could, if my kid asked me to spend that much money on me, I'd be like, oh my gosh. And like they just did it with absolutely, like
Mhm.
without batting an eye. They're like, what, you love
Yeah.
hockey. Like we love seeing you enjoy playing the sport. Like we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure
Mhm.
that you can do that. So my parents like easily like day one supporters, and I would not be anywhere near where I am
Yeah.
without them. But and then for me, like I mean, too, all the driving that I have to do. I drive a lot. I drive like
Yeah.
24 hours a week. Like I'm
Mhm.
not. That's not an exaggeration. Yeah. So drive down to Detroit, and then my billets are an hour 15 away.
Mhm.
So I'm down there 5 days a week training, and then back up here on the weekends. So it's a lot of driving,
Yeah.
but again, it's one of those, and I've been doing that for 5 years. So it's one of those things where, yeah, in the moment, obviously sitting in a car that long stinks, but
Yeah.
I mean, Emma Gentry did similar things.
Mhm.
She drove all the way down to I think it was Lansing for Meyer, was it? Whatever it was.
Yeah.
I know Emma Gentry did tons of driving. Like
Yeah.
same thing. It's just if you're playing hockey up here, and once you get like again when you play youth hockey, it's
Mhm.
fine. But like once you get older, going downstate, like you're playing college hockey, you got to go downstate to make sure you're getting proper
Mhm.
training. So, just a lot of driving. But again, my parents did most of the driving when I was a kid, and like I said, like they get props because like I would not be anywhere near where I am today without them.
Yeah. What would you tell kids who are in a remote location to find those resources to help build their game?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, obviously, that's one of the tough parts about being, in Alpena is
Mhm.
it's kind of the problem with it is there isn't a lot of coaching or options up here.
Yeah.
Like I know what I did in high school, for instance, was we'd play Monday through Friday, or sorry, excuse me, I go to school Monday through Friday,
Yeah.
play Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, I would get up at 5:30, drive over to Gaylord, Michigan to skate with our goalie coach or my goalie coach Taylor Carey
Mhm.
at 7 a.m. Be done by 8:30, and then I'd be home by 9:30, 10, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. And like, like that was my Sunday mornings for pretty
Mhm.
much the entire winter. And as much as I hated getting up at 5:30, like that's what you got to do. You can't if playing hockey or whatever it is, it doesn't have to be hockey, baseball, soccer.
Mhm.
If you really want to pursue something, you're gonna have to, sacrifice a little bit, and whether that's getting up early and driving somewhere, or just even getting up early and training on your own, or whatever it is, like you're gonna have to find somewhere to basically go farther than what you're already doing, because in Alpena, like it's going to be hard if you just sit here the whole time and
Yeah.
and play whatever sport you're playing. There's not really a lot of coaching. So whatever it is, if you can find a coach somewhere, and you can ask people around. Like there's plenty of people in Alpena who have gone and gotten coaching elsewhere. I know Reed Meinhardt went down to Saginaw for a while. I've gone to Gaylord in Detroit. Emma Gentry, I'm sure, has been
Yeah.
everywhere. Like she's killing it. So, but you just got to find coaches elsewhere, and get outside of Alpena, and sacrifice a little bit of drive or whatever it may be
Yeah.
to just get that extra training in, because again, like the unfortunate part about Alpena is it's not here.
Yeah.
So.
Well, now we're gonna do some fun questions. So first, what do you miss most about Alpena?
I really love the lakes. Like one of
Mhm.
the biggest issues I had with Charlotte this year is there is a lake. It's a man-made lake. It's called Lake Norman, but it is clay bottom. So, it's not the prettiest lake. And
Yeah.
obviously, we're pretty spoiled up here
Mhm.
in Michigan with all the lakes. So, whether it's Long Lake, Grand Lake, Hubbard Lake, they're all extremely clear. And then I've got a cottage on the west side of the state on Crystal Lake, and that's extremely clear.
Yeah.
So, it's just like wherever you go, there's clear water.
Mhm.
And down there, there's not. So, and of course, the people, like I love how like nice everyone is here. You don't always get that when you're driving
Yeah.
down in Charlotte, North Carolina. You got people cutting you off and giving you the bird or whatever it may be. You're just like, all right, like I'm just trying to get to my exit. But no, like the people, I'd say for sure, and and
Mhm.
and the lakes, biggest two things.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh, geez. Can I do like a top three?
Yeah.
Okay. If I'm gonna do top three, I do Inception, and that's an unbelievable movie. It's one of those brain twister movies. I really like Wedding Crashers as a funny one. And then I know this is kind of my dad got me into this
Mhm.
one as we're both kind of history nerds.
Mhm.
I like World War II and stuff like that. This isn't World War II, but it's called Black Hawk Down.
Okay.
Those three. It's kind of very three different movies, but I'd
Mhm.
probably say those are like top three. Like if I throw those on, I'll just sit there and I could be
Yeah.
just sit on the couch all day and just watch it. So
What's your favorite restaurant?
fast food for a while there was Chipotle. I ate that religiously.
Mhm.
I don't know if I have like a specific restaurant. I mean, Red Brick's really good
Yeah.
in town, but I was trying to think of like in town things.
Mhm.
Like I'd probably say if it's in town, probably like Red Brick. I really
Yeah.
like going there. It's kind of more like low key, like you don't have to go in there super dressed up,
Mhm.
but the food's always super solid. That'd probably be most people's in Alpena as well.
So I recently saw that you were voted one of the worst beards during the playoff on your team. What was that? This like a team bonding experience, and what were your thoughts on that?
So it was just like our media team doing funny things, which
Mhm.
I thought it was hilarious because I mean, I honestly grew way more than I expected. When I was in juniors, we did the same thing, and I mean, I've never really been able to grow out facial hair, and I had some really gross like facial hair in juniors. So this was a positive for me. I kind of grew out like a little bit of a beard. I'm like, wow, all right, like good for me. But no, there were some guys on there too that like totally did not get mentioned. Well, I had a teammate that lived in the same apartment complex with
Mhm.
me. Name was Sandis Vilmanis. He's from Latvia. Probably he got mentioned on that once. Oh my gosh, he had a mustache. It was just like so skinny and like stringy, and it would like come down the sides, like only here it was long and like curl into his mouth. It was just like so gross. But it's just like it was like one of those things where
Mhm.
the lady was sitting there asking, so it was like who you saw last who had a
Yeah.
bad beard. So
Mhm.
if we really sat down, I think there's no doubt in my mind that that guy would have won it. The fact that he got away with one vote is absolutely criminal.
So if you weren't pursuing hockey, what career path do you think you'd be in?
Honestly, probably coaching.
Mhm.
I think regardless of how long I play, I mean, I hope I have a long career, but no one ever really knows. But I think for me, coaching is definitely going to be something that I want to get into. I don't know if I'd ever want to be a head coach, but I really do enjoy coaching kids
Mhm.
and helping them, it's cool when you give them a pointer and then they go and do the exact thing you just told them to do, and then their face lights up because they're like, "Oh my gosh, it works!" And you're like, "Yeah, like it does work." So I think that's kind of something that I like to do. I don't know. I mean, I probably would like to be like a college coach or something, just because it's a little bit more stable than a professional. Like you're home more, you're not on the road as much. But no, I'd still like love to coach kids in like the off season and stuff like that. So probably coaching.
How do you unwind after a tough game or a long road trip?
Uh, well, the last bad game I had was in Utica, and I made a meme for about 4 hours. And sent that into the group chat. So that was how I did it the last one. That's not normally what I do. I just got bored and was like, I gotta do something. But no, I mean, like, honestly, I normally don't talk about it. Like, I act like I didn't even play. Like, that's kind of the best for. And again, like, some people need to talk about it. Some people need to get off the chest. I find that if I talk about it, I just get more frustrated with myself. So I think for me, like, I've always just kind of been like the type of guy that's just like, don't like my bless my mom. Sometimes she'll be like, "Are you okay?" I just be like, "Mom, just don't talk to me. Like, I love you. Just don't talk to me." Yeah, I just flush it. Don't even think about it. I won't watch video on it. Won't do anything. Like, does not matter. I will not watch the game at all. So just burn it, leave it, move on.
And lastly, is there anyone you know working hard that deserves some recognition or we should have on the podcast?
Yeah, I think the one that I mentioned this earlier, but I thought Ben Henry was kind of a cool story. You know, he played in Alpena, you know, was great for the team, and then went on played college, played overseas, and now he's back in town. You know, coaching the Alpena High School hockey team. So in the hockey world, definitely he'd be an interesting one, especially I know he's the head athletic director now. So he's definitely probably got some cool and funny stories that you could probably ask him about. So I think that'd be my go-to.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here, Cooper. And if you know anyone in your community who's doing extraordinary things, DM us at Luck Unlimited Apparel on Instagram. Thank you for listening to Luck It with Lexi.